All right. So we're going to jump in here, folks. Thanks for joining. And it's been a great series of presentations so far. So hopefully I'm able to live up to it. All right, we're going to talk about ChatGPT Agent Mode, which was released this year by ChatGPT and OpenAI. And we're going to talk about this in the context of how is this different than what ChatGPT has been, where you have the chat box, you just sort of come into it and you have the ability to, hey, go do research on this, give me this type of information, find me a recipe, etc. To the next sort of evolution, there's some folks that are using GPTs, which is, hey, I'm having to do the sort of like same exact like research process of I want to go out, I want to, like Brendan here, who is doing deep research on all of us before presenting. I want that to be relatively consistent, and I want a core output. And I can build that up. I can give it some context of what that should look like. It's more consistent on what it ultimately does. Now, ChatGPT rolled out agent mode, which is a whole new thing, and it's really very interesting and a huge productivity lift because what it does is that when you use agent mode, it actually can spin up its own browser or terminal to do work. And as you think of a web browser, what does that mean? Well, now it can access software that's online, SaaS products. It can log in. It can do work. It can navigate to your Google Drive or your OneDrive, look in folders, find information, and do things with that. Additionally, it can also go one step further and even potentially draft the email and send the email on your behalf. So it's a big change as it goes forward. And one of the novel things, because the new connectors piece that comes out, you have access to dozens and dozens of additional solutions. So like your HubSpot, or if you have Salesforce, we're working on our own stuff here at Enrollment as well. So just to sort of show that sort of visualization here is that the agent mode has just more ability to do real world task. So I very much view it as like having a more junior resource that needs to go do this particular type of thing for me. One of the use cases that I just saw the past couple of days when Walmart announced that you can do purchasing through ChatGPT is people literally say, hey, I have this, go find a recipe for me to say maybe make chicken marsala, go to Walmart, create the my shopping cart, and because that integration now works, the agent goes out, scans Walmart, finds a recipe, finds the ingredients, packages all that into a shopping cart, and asks you like, hey, can you put in your credit card detail, or can you give me your address if you're not already logged in, and given your agent the information to go do that. So that's sort of like that's a pretty tedious little offload, that 15-20 minute type thing. But what I'm going to be talking about here is going to be how can people use this in our space, the higher education space, and we're going to touch on a couple things, which is going to be pretty fun to do. So before jumping into that, I do want to think of safety, privacy, and governance first of mind. Um, this this now can do a lot more. And what does a lot more mean? It's creating files, it's editing files, it's deleting files. So understanding those guardrails of what permissioning you want to give that agent to go do. You will also see with this, it's pretty neat. You can see what it's doing on the screen. So you can jump in at any point in time if it's struggling to do things. And then obviously, if you are using this, you're probably you have to be a paid subscriber to have agent mode. So this isn't available to ChatGPT free. But if you're using this in your personal account, but you're touching information at your company or organization, it's probably a potential no-no, especially if you're touching personally identifiable information and things of that nature. So just be cognizant of that because there's actually a screen recording of what's going on, so that contact information can be there. And for transparency's sake, everything that I'm presenting today is all synthetic data. So this isn't real data. These are not real people. So just wanted to disclose that. And then you can see a couple of the other pieces here, obviously cleaning your cookies, making sure that the permissions are correct, and turning on and off connections as need be. I think that's important because you just don't want the agent to sort of go off the rails and try to do something that's not exactly what you have in mind. So what I'm going to be presenting is the following, which is we're going to create, and I've already done this, so we'll walk through this application reviewer agent that I built. And thinking of, a situation, it's, you walk in the office, it's 9 a.m. in the morning, you've got, 25, 35 applications that came in over the last night, and you need to go through each one of those. And your organization has a criteria checklist of what's acceptable, what's appropriate for our school. What documents did they provide? Is there anything that's particularly missing that we also need to collect? And then I need to draft an email to each one of those people about what was going on, how are they doing, what's the fit for the school. And then I also need to create some reporting around that of like telling my colleagues of like, hey, this is what I did today. This is what this population looks like, and I can do something with that. So we'll go ahead and now move into this next section here. So I'm going to talk about the prompt itself. A good recommendation here is you want to create a sense of like what is the intention of this agent to go do. And this agent, it's an admission support analyst. It's going to pull this application submission data for me. And then we're going to provide it a sort of clear steps, the workflow that it needs to do. So we want to ultimately create a file based on the following steps, analyze the applications based on the school criteria. So in this situation, I created a synthetic set of school criteria as relates to admissions. You're going to want to give it context. And I think this is important because the agent only knows what it knows. You don't want to send it on the wild goose chase of, hey, go figure this out. It's best to give it guidance. The guidance, which is it's going to be in this folder, it's going to be this specific URL, and point out those specific things. It's going to go through and we're going to create that spreadsheet, which will group all those applicants based on the completeness of the application of information that they provided. It's going to provide guidance on anything that is particularly missing, and then it's going to draft that email based on those missing items for each one of the applications. So let's go ahead and jump in here. So I'm going to start up here. So this is what our prompt was. I gave it that role. I've given it the direction of where the spreadsheet is in Google Drive. I've given it the school criteria, and let's go look at some of that material that I gave it. So this is our, standing operating procedure on application review. Each one of the pieces that goes into it, and you'll see something really novel that comes out of this in just a moment's time. So again, we're informing the agent what we need to do and how to analyze and review each one of those applicants based off of this key criteria that the organization has already set up for us in terms of what we're looking for in terms of the best fit for us as a school. This is the application data. It runs through with a whole bunch of various traditional details. How did they perform? Class ranks, major that they're looking to come in, school start time, have they completed the financial aid, FAFSA material, household income, all the rich detail that you would see from a traditional application, all consolidated here. So I want to jump back over. Sorry, really quick. This little bar has gotten in my way, which is always fun. Let's get that out of the way. So we went ahead and tasked this, and we'll go ahead and watch what happens here. So as you can see this, it's reading what happened. It's jumping in and actually going to the file itself. And we'll sort of jump ahead. It's gone to that Google Sheet, and where are we at on the process here? Let's go ahead and see where we're at. There we go. So it's looking to open up the browser, it's having a little struggle with it. It's navigating around, developing some different approaches to do it. It looks like it's got the content and it's loading that now. And now it's actually now pulling all this information from Google Sheets. So it went into Google and it's pulling in the application data that we provided. Now it looks like it's pulling that admissions criteria. And as you'll see here, so you have observability of everything that's going on. And this actually took 3 minutes. But as you're coming in, you actually can take over the browser and jump in at any point in time as you're watching the agent work. You can see the activity. And while this is running, for those that are looking at doing this, you simply come in here and you would select agent mode from the drop-down section here. So what happened on the back end is that it's taking that application data, it's taking the criteria data, it's then actually consolidating that and spun up a terminal. And that terminal is actually utilizing a Python script. So it's drafted its own Python script coding solution that will allow for it to go and read and detect on where and what should be happening with this. What is the fitness of this application, reviewing all that material and all that data straight on the back end for you. And it's leveraging, again, grounded on that criteria of what's happening to be able to create those sort of classifications and groupings that we requested from it. And it looks like it's getting pretty close to being done, as we can see here. And it's doing a double check of its work. Well, let's move ahead. And what I had to do just for visualization purposes is provide me that spreadsheet. So now you have this nice spreadsheet that you can come out, export, and you can review. But I wanted to go one step further and say, hey, can you actually upload that back to the folder that you got this core information from? So now you can see how that's done. In this situation, it's having me log back in. Because I have it connected, and which is you can see this in the sources. So these are as well, I was talking about connectors, these are all the things that your solution can come in and touch. And there's a whole litany of them. And there seems to be more every couple days that they're pulling in. And it pulled that in and it took control. It's now logged in. It's taking from its virtual machine that it has created that additional document and is going through the process of uploading that. And as you can see, it has uploaded that information. And we can go look at that really quick. So you can see the applicant ID. You can see the core name that they have. You can see any of the missing items, and they actually go in and list those out across here and what that missing item was. So it looks like they're missing recommendations here. Looks like it's their art portfolio. They must have been an art student. It's giving you the status of the application. Is it fully complete or not? It looks like we've got a couple down here that are already complete. And it's giving a nice form letter of what needs to happen to go to that next phase. So let's just do a quick recap now of what we've seen here. So what did we have this go do? We had it go look at a CSV Google Sheet file, pulling all that applicant and associated transcript information. We have it doing criteria matching against what the school's expectation is against that of the actual applicant, how that fits. It's identifying any type of issues related to what's incomplete. Sorry, I jumped ahead there really quick. And then it's highlighting any of those in terms of minor or major. And our core outcome here is, a complete end-to-end cycle that, as you could see, that was roughly about 4 to 5 minutes to review what would have been, I think, 25 to 30 applications. So huge, huge, huge unlock if you thought about that of, okay, I'm gonna have to review this line item by line item. I'm gonna go to the criteria. I have my little checklist of what I have to complete. So you're looking at this could have been almost a day's worth of work, half a day's worth of work as that was completed. The first pass of that's been completed for you right there. So I want to also show another one here. So I know that there might be some folks that are on the student success side of the house on how could this solution be impactful for us for me in my role. And what we'll actually look at is the some LMS related content. So do a quick time check, and we're looking pretty good right now. Um, so we're going to look at an export of LMS activity. We're going to analyze those records based on potential student risk, and we actually have a risk framework that we're going to give that agent so it can go do that work. It's going to group those students based on the signal, and it's going to provide recommendations and then subsequently a draft email for that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and skip this. So first piece came in, was asking, hey, can you help me log in? So again, again, asking me to be able to get access to this. It looks like he was struggling a little bit with some of the data connector, but it looks like we ultimately got him in, got the agent in, isn't logged in. And then now here we go, we got him in. And as that's working through, is it's gone in here and it's looking at the some of that core data and pulling us through. Actually, I'm on the wrong chat, so give me 1 second. I see that I'm on the wrong chat. Let's find that really quick. Where did I put this? Sorry, everyone. It's going to be this one, I believe. Let's see, nope. Sorry, 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 sorry. See, this might be in a different chat. Uh, I pulled it from here. Nope. All right, let's jump back here really quick. And you know what? Let's do it live. Let's go ahead and pull this in real quick. Give me a second. I'm going to find where did this go? Prompt. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Just give me a second here. All right. We'll actually go in and do it live. All right. And give me a second here. We'll go find the sources for this. It's going to be LMS data. I'm going to stop sharing really quick just to make this a little easier on myself. All right. Let's do this. There we go. That is the data we want to give it. And we want to also give it a little additional information. This will be this one here. Pause that, give it that. So what we'll do here, I'll take over the browser. Let's see where it's at. How are we doing on time, Brendan?
We're doing good on time. We're at 3:24. This goes till 3:30, but our next session, our last session of the day, starts right when this one ends. So
Okay.
we'll have to do a nice little magic transition from that one into the other one. But this
Yeah.
is, you're getting some really good feedback in here, right? Love seeing it in real time.
Yeah.
Questions like, can you ask it to execute another agent based on outcomes, those kind of things.
Oh, so the chaining of agents. Not in this. However, OpenAI has rolled out its Agent Kit and Chat Kit solutions, which then will allow for it to have the ability to actually do some of that work. So just wanted to bring that up as that would be an approach that you would want to chain agents to go, you do this, you do this, you do this. Alternatively, you can also set that up in the workflow. So the thought here is your first set of agent actions is going to be X. Once that is complete, I then want you to create another set of workflows to come in and do the next step. So the one thing that I often hear is that everyone reaches for an agent first, but sometimes it's a workflow piece. So you give additional workflows to that existing agent just for it to sort of work on that whole piece itself. Um, so that's the sort of general approach that goes into that. And as you can see here, it's similar to what we did before. You had that sort of generation of a Python solution to extract all that information as need be. So let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah.
What other questions were there in the
Yeah,
chat?
Cody from SEMO asked, how does it send the email from this spreadsheet? What is the route used?
Yes, so you can connect this to Mail, and it will actually go in and create the draft. You obviously need to have the email in that spreadsheet to know who this is actually going to. I always give, a word of caution of that. It's probably best for a human to do it until you get a couple reps of that going through. So I wouldn't be saying, "Hey, here's 25 emails that I'm going to shoot straight out," until you test it yourself a couple times. Make sure you feel comfortable with what that agent's doing from a workflow process.
Awesome. And then another one in here that's a good one. Would you use an agent to estimate demand for a new degree the university might offer?
So, and I will let this sort of run what it's doing really quick. When you come into, there's deep research that can help you with that, but there's this report section which will actually help you sort of go through. These are not based on my criteria. I do not travel to San Sebastian
I was going to say,
often.
you're doing some research on
Yeah,
Labubus and Beanie Babies.
yeah.
This is great.
So I'm not a little boo person yet. I do have, 15-month-old, and my brother came over and just it brainwashed my poor child into saying that. So I've been hearing that chorus over and over. But you can actually then go in here. So I'd either do deep research and or this sort of report approach. report approach, think about as you're going to do that. And one of my colleagues, Jamie, will actually be talking about deep research on this, which is what would a new program research look like? What do I need? Do I need to go to the BLS to determine what are the occupational outcomes? Can I go to iPads or NCS to determine what other schools offer it? Are they doing it on ground? Are they doing it online? How large are those enrollments? So to a great extent, these agents can navigate. So if it's a publicly available website, it's going to be able to do that. One of the things that I will state, and I just from observation standpoint, they struggle with some of the older websites that are not very user friendly, to say the least. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
it's that's definitely a use case.
Beautiful. We got 1 minute left. Do we have some results here on that job that's
Let's
running?
see really quick. Let's see really quick. Yeah, here we go. I just got to open up. All right. Can you see that or no?
I cannot. I just see your window.
All right.
Oh,
There.
there
How
it
about
is.
now?
Yep.
So you can see the name, it's attendance, it's got the draft subject line, it's got the email body, it's all there. So
Wow.
you can see, hey, recommendations of intervention, discuss strategies to improve grades, all this fun stuff, all grounded again on what your intervention strategy would be at a school like that.
Beautiful.
So as you can see, this is running against, it looks like 25-ish or so students. So again, pretty easy if you're a faculty member or a teacher and you're looking at how can I be better? How can I offload some of my work? Here you go.
Yeah.